Hi everyone, Karen here from Holistic Essentials Therapy and Consulting, bringing to you this week's forecast for Monday the 22nd of April through to Sunday the 28th of April 2019. I hope that you've all had a wonderful week. I am having such a wonderful time being away with my beautiful husband for our first holiday in such a long time in Thailand, and I love being in Thailand. What I find really interesting, and of course you can follow the pics and everything of my trip on my Facebook page. But what I find really interesting is whenever I go to a new place, I do find it important to ask permission to be in that space. And that is the land itself has its own consciousness, because often I can find that it can be quite overwhelming to move into a different space, a different energy. And I find it important to be grounded. And so I ask for all of my energy to be grounded into the space in which I am. I call all of my energy into that space. I ask Archangel Michael to really ground me and to center me. And I find that helps me to transition into that different energy. And of course, there's a lot of people. And I work very much on my own, or I work one-on-one, or I work in groups. And there's a lot of space where I am. You know, I'm on a beautiful island at home, and I have... there's not that overwhelming sense of having a lot of people's energy around me. And so it is important to be mindful of your own energy in your own space. So I'd be sure to pull my aura in around me, and to just make sure that I'm taking care of myself in the space in which I'm in. And you may find that that's very powerful for you when you're going into your workplace, or if you're going into shopping centers, to just pull your auric field. So we all have an energy field around us, and pulling that in and imagining that that's drawn in close to us is very important, because everything in the universe is energy. And while we may try and keep our energy to ourselves, we're all connected. And so we are often walking in and through and getting into other people's space. And so just asking Archangel Michael to wrap his beautiful wings of protection around you, and feeling your deep connection to Mother Earth and feeling grounded no matter where you are is really, really important. And what I wanted to speak about this week is, I love the teachings of Matt Kahn. I've been listening to him for some time, and I heard him really give a beautiful example of how forgiveness can work. And often when we think of forgiving other people, it feels like it has to come from us. It feels like I have to forgive you for your behavior, even though I didn't agree with your behavior. And often we can get confused and feel that, or think that, when we forgive somebody of an action that they've done, or forgive somebody for hurting us, that we are condoning their actions. And that's just not true at all. And I really loved this. This really resonated with me. You know, in order for people to behave in a particular way that may hurt somebody else, they are coming from a space of deep disconnection. They are coming from a belief that they are actually separate. You know, we all think that we are separate. We're all these individuals that are running around on the planet. Yet at our core, we are all primarily deeply connected to the loving energy of the universe. We haven't actually separated. We just believe we are separated. And when people behave in a particular way, what they're doing in that moment is they are revealing their deep unhappiness to us. They're revealing how deeply unhappy they are. And so the first part of his teaching was to say, I don't blame you. Now, that doesn't mean I like your actions. That doesn't mean that I like what you've done to me, but I don't blame you, because I can recognize that if you were connected to your soul, if you were coming from a heart-centered space, if you knew that you were the divine experiencing yourself in human form, then people would not be able to behave or do what they do, or behave in a way that they do, or do the actions that they do. And so the first thing is to say in your mind and in your heart that you don't blame them. And then the other, which I found incredibly powerful, was to actually say, I allow space for you to be forgiven. And what that does then is it takes the responsibility of that sense of, I'm responsible for forgiving you. I'm responsible. I'm the one that gets to decide whether or not you're going to be forgiven. Or even just the pain that caused, the pain and suffering of feeling like I should be forgiving this person, but I can't bring myself to release myself from this situation. And so he really talked about, saying the words, I allow you the space to be forgiven, because the true forgiveness takes place between that individual and the universal loving energy of the divine. And, it allows for whatever forgiveness within themselves, because people who cannot forgive themselves continue to behave in that way, because there's that constant not wanting to have that self-reflection, or not wanting to acknowledge or accept responsibility. And so in that moment, what it does is it actually releases you from that situation. And just try that on, just hold your hand on your heart and bring to mind somebody who has challenged you or hurt you in the past. Or even just if you know in your heart that there is somebody that it is time for you to release in order for your own healing and growth to occur. And just bring that person to mind and just say, I don't blame you, recognizing that. And this is not saying that what they did to you was okay, but recognizing that if this person was connected to their soul, if this person recognized that they are loved by the universe and that they are this beautiful light being, that they would never have been able to actually take that action or say those words or do those things. And they are completely separate and unconscious in their own mind. And then saying the words, I allow space for you to be forgiven. And just feel the release of that. To me, it really felt like a weight was being lifted off my shoulders. Okay, this is between you and the divine. I'm releasing myself from this situation. And all healing that I require in this time is being given to me. And so it is. And allow that energy to settle into your heart space. Allow that energy to settle into your heart space. Now that is something you can even do for yourself. I allow space for myself to be forgiven, because often, sometimes the reverse can be so, and many people can find it quite easy to forgive another human being, yet hold themselves accountable and responsible and continue to punish over and over again. And so even I allow space. I don't blame me. I made choices and I behaved in a way that in that moment I knew no better. I knew no better. I knew no different. I had no other resources available to me at that time, and I did what I did, thinking in that moment that that's what was expected or that was what I needed to do. And I now allow space for myself to be forgiven. Such a beautiful, deep and powerful technique that you can use for yourself and others. So I hope that serves you well. So for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, be devoted and committed, the sage. What does the sage represent? The sage represents the being, the person that is in alignment. The sage represents the human who has been able to bring in beautiful energies of the divine into their own heart and into the hearts of others. But at the core of that, the sage is committed to living a life of love. The sage is committed to living a life of being connected to the soul self, to the heart, to the divine Mother, Father, God. The sage is the being who, in that alignment, can see the truth of people who come to them, can see their suffering, can see at their core they are beautiful beings of the divine. The sage can recognize that, yes, the human experience can be difficult, and yes, there can be suffering. And the sage recognizes that it is only our mental mind activity and our thought processes attached to a situation that continues to cause us suffering. The sage recognizes that to alleviate all pain and suffering, all that is needed is a return back to love, a return to the heart, a return to source. The sage recognizes that when we devote ourselves to well-being, when we devote ourselves to a daily practice of communing with life, with nature, with the divine, that true freedom and knowledge and wisdom can be obtained or can be experienced in our human experience. And the sage reminds us too that we have access to universal remembering, universal knowledge. The sage reminds us that we each are our own sage in our own life journey. And the sage is here to remind us that everything is happening in order. Each event or each situation that you find yourself in is a step closer to enlightenment. It's a step closer to awakening. It's a step closer to revealing to yourself the true essence of yourself. But the sage also recognizes that it is not a search outside of ourselves, that it is an internal knowing and an internal connection and an internal searching of turning our gaze inward, turning our reflection inward, and communing with the divine always. The breath, the heart, the soul, nature, and Mother Earth. And so you are being invited to connect with the sage within you this week. You are being invited to commit to the daily practices that serve your highest good. You are asked or being invited to allow just in this moment for the outer world to drop away and for the inner world to really be revealed to you. And yes, there will be some mental mind thinking in that. And so just allowing the thoughts to arise when they arise and acknowledging them, and then bringing your attention back to your heart and your breath. And that is where true wisdom and remembering can occur. Thursday and Friday, eagle. Love the eagle. The eagle is my favorite spirit animal. And the eagle is one that when I am okay, I'm needing a sign, am I on the right path, how am I viewing this situation, am I viewing this situation correctly and from the highest possible perspective. So the highest perspective is how would universal love, how would the divine Mother, Father, God, how would your soul view this situation from the vantage point of understanding and love. And what also does the eagle represent? The eagle represents strength. The eagle represents the ability to be able to see what's ahead, to really, take yourself to the top of the mountain and view the valley below and see the valley below as your life, your pathways, your journey. And from the top of the mountain or from the vantage point of being the eagle, you're able to see how every pathway in your life, every choice, every decision has led you to be where you are. And then from this higher vantage point, you are also able to recognize and see that everything that has occurred before you has been to steer you in the right direction and onto the right path. And so you're being asked to really bring in and connect to the energy of the eagle this week. Invoke the medicine of the eagle this week. Connect through meditation to the eagle, and then just you can actually say to the universe, you can say to your soul self, show me this as you would have me see it. Show me this situation as you view it. How would you have me see this situation? How would you have me understand this person? Take my awareness out of my lower chakras. Take my awareness and expand my awareness out so that I may be able to view myself and those around me from the higher perspective of deep understanding and connection to love and the universal heart. I love the energy of the eagle. And when we're doing that, it's also connecting you more deeply to your third eye chakra. And the third eye chakra is where all of that knowing, all of that internal sight comes from, that deep understanding. And so allow yourself to see your life through the eyes of the eagle and really invite that presence into your life this week. Saturday and Sunday, arrow, love this. Surround yourself with protective energy. Surround yourself with protective energy. And this is you. And this is the protective energy. And this is really about the people that are in. So often we can feel that, we are being attacked, or we can feel that, we're picking up on bad vibes, or we can feel that, we're just being bombarded with all of this external information. And so by placing protection around yourself, you are protecting yourself from being impacted by the energies of other people. And a way to protect yourself is there's many ways, and over the years I've done many things. So I love to use the beautiful energy of my guardian angels, and I always thank my guardian angels, and I always feel that they have, a hand. I have two, and I feel that they each stand behind me and place a hand on my shoulder. And then I visualize and sense that they have these magnificent wings, and they just surround me in their beautiful wings. You may feel more comfortable connecting with the energy of Archangel Michael, but know that our guardian angels are there to walk this journey with us throughout every second and moment of our lives. And and the guardian angel could even be a representation or an expression of your soul self. It doesn't matter. It's the intention, and everything is intention. There, we breathe air. We breathe air every moment of every day. Yet we can't see air. We can't touch it. We can't feel it. We can't smell it. We don't know that it's there. We can't prove. Like, I can't walk outside and go, oh go to me now. This is air. This is air. I have no reference. I have no proof that is there. And so this is how doing a visualization or an intention or a prayer or a request to the universe and trusting, it's trust, it's faith. I have faith that I'm going to breathe air in my next breath. Again, we hear the wind, we see the wind because we can see the trees moving. We can feel the wind because we feel it against our skin, but we can't see it, but we know that it's there. And I really feel very deeply that, the same concept applies to our loved ones in spirit, our soul, our beautiful angelic friends. And so the same applies also for, the divine energy, the heart of the universe, the infinite intelligence, that loving, unconditional, loving force of the universe. We are being asked to trust, and it is our intention. And so just asking the beautiful, loving energy of the Divine Mother, Father, God to really surround you, or source, whatever word, whatever works for you, to surround you in this beautiful ball of light. Perhaps you might like to bring in a color. I love to see that I have a gold plate around my auric field, and that is, you know, a golden layer, and that is my protection. And then I imagine and visualize and breathe in the loving energy of the universe, and I thank the angelic, and I thank my loved ones in spirit and all the beautiful helpers that are there to assist us all, for filling my whole energy field with pure love, with positivity and well-being. And I know deep in my heart, I never question it, I trust the moment that I ask to be wrapped in protection, that it is done, and so it is. And I know it to be true in every fiber of my being. And it is that knowing and that belief that actually increases and intensifies that sense of being protected, that sense of being loved, and that knowing that I am safe. So I hope that that serves you well. I hope that you be kind and gentle to yourself. Appreciate all that you are. Feel deep compassion for your life and all that you're learning. Have a wonderful week. Namaste. Blessed be. Thank you as always for following on my journey, and thank you for inviting me into your heart. I'm so blessed and grateful that you are in mine. Thank you. Bye.